Hello, and welcome back to the Goodness Margin, the place where we find margin for the good things in life. Since this account is all about minimizing and organizing, decluttering, productivity, I love reading all of the books about those things. And a while back, when I heard that this book had come out, I picked it up in a bookstore and I flipped through it and really enjoyed what I had read. So recently, I purchased this book so I could read it while I was on vacation. I read it in one day. It's a very simple read, and I highly recommend that you take advantage and read it as well. I will actually post a link to this book in the notes below. This is called The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. Apparently, this is something that is extremely common in Sweden and in other parts of Europe. And what it is, it's just the process of cleaning your home out before you die rather than leaving it for someone else to do after you die. The author of this book shares so many wonderful tips, and today I'm sharing my 5 favorite takeaways. When she talks about death cleaning, she shares her 3 experiences that she had personally. Now, I believe that she has some sort of a business and she regularly helps people with this, but her first experience was when her mother passed away. And she talks about how her mother had a lot of things, but her mother also left notes for her on items, and it was really a gift that her mother gave her even after she had passed away, and I'll be sharing some more about that later. The second time she experienced it was with helping cleaning out her mother-in-law's home, and she talks about going through that process. And then the third time was when her husband passed away, and she went through the home that they shared together. And she talks about how this really was a lonely time because she wished that her and her husband would have done this together. She wished it would have been something that they would have started much earlier than they did. The reality is that we are all going to die at some point. It's not morbid or sad, but my first takeaway from this book is she talks about how that death cleaning is not for those that are after us, but it's really for us to live our life today to the fullest extent. When you go through this process of death cleaning, you're definitely thinking about the people that will inherit your home or inherit all of your stuff. But it's not just for them, it's for you. It's for you to live in an organized home that works for you in whatever season that you're in. And obviously, if you start this process when you're young, if you think about the future when you're young, it becomes so much easier when you are of an age where that maybe you're downsizing, potentially even moving into a retirement home, or knowing that your time on earth is limited. It's not a sad thing. It's not a morbid thing. It's just the reality of life. The second thing that she shares is to not start with your personal papers or letters or photographs. And this is something that I have shared with you. Don't start with those sentimental items. Start with the things that are easy for you to go through. Maybe you used to be into gardening, you're not anymore. Go ahead and go through that. Maybe you have a craft area and you've changed the way that you like to craft. Go through those things. Start in your kitchen. Look at your kitchen gadgets and think, are these things that I actually use? So for whatever season that you are in life currently, don't start with the sentimental stuff. Start with the easy stuff that's easy for you to get rid of. My third takeaway is something that I really love, and I'm definitely going to take advantage of this tip. She talks about making a record of the things that you're keeping and the reason why, what your plan is for those. So for example, if you have this beautiful lamp and you know that your daughter wants that lamp, put a note with your daughter's name under that lamp, especially if you have multiple children or you have multiple people who will be inheriting things from your home. Put a note on that lamp, and better yet, make a list of the things that you plan to leave to people. Have that list saved on a computer, put it in some paperwork that is for your end-of-life care. Email that list to a trusted friend, someone who's going to take care of those things for you. I love this concept of taking that worry off of the people who are already grieving from your death, and now they're having to determine what your wishes were for your stuff. And there's no way that they will know that unless you have already planned for that. I've even started this with some of my children's things that I have kept. I put a note inside of the bags to give them a reason that I kept this item. Obviously, I'm still pretty young. I guess age is a comparable thing, so I'm older to some and young to some, but I definitely plan on living quite a few more years. But if something did happen to me, I want my children to know the reason that I kept this blanket. It is because your grandmother made this for you when you were just a baby, and we have photos of you with it. I want them to know the reason. And so creating that list, letting people know what your plan is for your stuff. You can start this now, but especially if you're in a stage of life where that it's time for you to start thinking about these things, this is just such a wonderful tip. And maybe you have parents or grandparents that are in that stage of life and you could help them with this. I love this idea. My fourth takeaway is she has a throwaway box. It's a box and she literally labeled it throwaway box. And she has entrusted this to one of her children that she knows will respect her wishes. And once she passes away, this is a box just to throw it away. It has some love letters from her husband. It has some things that she wants personally. They're very personal to her. And she wanted to keep them throughout the rest of her life, but she doesn't want them to be shared with anyone else. And we all have things that are personal to us. Maybe they're journals, or I have some prayer journals where I've prayed some really personal prayers, and I love to reference those myself. But that is something that would definitely go in my throwaway box. I would love for that just to be thrown away, to not be kept, so that I don't worry about personal, private things for anyone else to see. I love this idea of having a throwaway box. Of course, you just have to be sure that you let someone that you trust know exactly where that's at. And then the fifth tip is something that I definitely plan on doing as well. She talks about photographs, and she had so many photographs, and now we're in the day of digital photography. But I know when I was a kid, and then especially this woman has grandchildren and great-grandchildren. So many of her pictures they're not digital. They are just photos that we have taken. And I know that I used to take like 5 pictures of one thing, and some of them would be blurry. So you go through the pictures and you have 5 pictures of the same thing. Go through that, look at those 5 pictures, pick your favorite one, toss the rest. And so she went through and she sorted things by years or periods in life. And you can send them off to a service, or you can buy a scanner and do it yourself. She scanned all the photos, and she gave each of her children a USB drive with all of the photos on it as a Christmas present. That would be the most amazing Christmas present. I plan on doing this with my mom. She has a lot of photos, and I know she's wanting our help with this. So this is a project I definitely plan on taking on with her this year. I want to help her go through all those photos, and then we could digitize them and save those forever. And now I just want to share with you a few little things that she said in the book that I really enjoyed, and I think that you will enjoy those as well. A loved one wishes to inherit nice things from you, not all things from you. And I love that statement because it's so true, right? We would love to have a few things that we can remember someone by, but we definitely don't want to have to go through a ton of stuff from someone that we love. Aging is certainly not for the weaklings. That is why you should not wait too long to start downsizing. Sooner or later, you will have your own infirmities, and then it is nice to be able to enjoy the things you can still manage to do without the burden of too many things to look after and too many messes to organize. I love how she talks about starting early in life, and then when the time does come that it is a little bit more difficult to take care of your stuff, you're already there. You've already taken care of your stuff, and you can enjoy your home in whatever stage of life that you're in. This very simple statement is also really great. Living smaller is a relief, and it really, really is. It's such a relief to not have so much stuff to take care of. She said, if you are invited to lunch, don't buy the host flowers or a new present. Give her one of your things. And I love this concept, especially if you have a collection of some beautiful things, but you don't want to keep all of it. By giving those to those you love, we actually, at our age, I went through my kitchen and I had some things that I was getting rid of, and they were really nice things. Well, we had some friends over for dinner, and they were actually moving from a really small house to a much larger house. She had had a teeny tiny kitchen where she couldn't have very much stuff in it. She was moving to the space that she had always wanted. And so I asked her, are any of these things something you could use? She was really thankful for the gift that I gave her. And so I was able to bless her with this stuff while ridding my kitchen of it. And so we can go ahead and start this concept. If you have stuff and know somebody else can use it, absolutely pass it on to them. What a great, great idea. And then last, she said, will anyone I know be happier if I save this? And that's just a really great mindset to frame the things that we decide to keep. So if you haven't already, I would love for you to hit the bell, be notified when the next video goes live, subscribe to my channel, and you can check out another video that I did. I will link it right here on tips for taking care of your sentimental things. These are things that are special to us, that we hold on to, but why do we hold on to them, and how should we treat them, and how do we need to store those items? I'll share all of that in that video, so I'd love for you to check it out.